Howdy folks, it's Brian, and we're gonna read some Reddit. Maybe if I can get through this first title even. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Being Mad That My Roommate Killed a Spider? That "my" really threw me off. I know this is going to be a weird one for you guys, but I am genuinely at a loss here and trying to get a reality check from a larger group of people to make sure that I'm not being a jerk. I've been an arachnophobic for most of my life, but over the last year, I've been working to desensitize myself when it comes to my issue. I've made great progress. I can now hold a spider without freaking out. I can appreciate them as useful predators and that they are even some of them I find kind of cute. Have you guys seen jumping spiders? They're adorable. They are adorable. I would suggest if you want, look up some jumping spider videos. They are cute. I don't know. Jumping spiders are just cute. Anyway, during this process, a spider moved into my bathroom shower. She wasn't dangerous or harmful in any way. I checked, and since she sat in her little web in the corner and didn't bother anyone, I let her stay where she was at. I named her Bernadette, and for the last 6 months or so, we've gotten along great. I talked to her while I showered, she'd kill bugs, and lived her best spider life, and everybody was happy. I asked my roomie early on if he minded that Bernadette was there, because if he did, I'd catch her and take her elsewhere, but he said she didn't bother him, so it was fine. I told him that if it ever changed, or it made him uncomfortable, just to tell me, and I would handle the issue, but please don't kill her. He said, sure, and that was that. Skip ahead today, and I went to take a shower, and looked up and said hello to Bernie, and she was gone. Her web was missing too. I was upset, but told myself that it was nature and these things happen. I was wrong because later that day, I told my roomie about her missing, and he nonchalantly informed me that he had killed her because his girlfriend wanted to use the shower, and she was afraid of spiders. I asked him why he just didn't tell me, and that he said he wouldn't hurt her, and his response was, chill out, it was just a bug. I kind of lost it a bit, and I started crying, and then I called him a piece of soggy dog poo for killing her after he promised not to. All she was doing was living her life and hurting nobody. It turned into a screaming fight, and we aren't speaking. Am I a jerk about being mad that he killed Bernadette? No, you aren't. And this is really bad. I don't know why Reddit is judging you as the jerk here, because you essentially kept her as a pet, and you were looking after her, and you asked him to tell you if she was bothering anyone, and he said he was fine with it, and then he goes behind your back and kills her. Some people do keep spiders as pets, and if you had a pet spider and someone killed it, then you would be rightly so upset. This isn't any different than that kind of situation. So I think that you are well within your right to be mad at this person, at your roommate, and I think that you're not the jerk. I'm really sorry that he killed your pet. I'm really sorry that he killed Bernadette. Our next story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Throwing Away Cookies a Family Friend Made for Us Because I Was Mad at My Daughter? When my daughter was 11, my son, who was 7 years old, was diagnosed with DIPG. So my husband and I had our hands tied and needed all of our energy and time to care for our son and hopefully cure him. Unfortunately, our daughter would act out and behave awfully at times. When she did, one time, I threw away chocolate chip cookies a family friend made us because I knew my daughter liked the cookies she had made. I was just so exasperated that she didn't understand the stress that we were under and continued to behave in an immature way. My daughter's now 21, and my son has been gone for almost 9 years. But the reason I ask now is my daughter and I hardly ever talk, and even though she's home from college 24/7, she doesn't tell me anything. Moreover, I saw her texting a friend about the incident, so am I a jerk for doing that all those years ago when I was extremely stressed as a parent? This is a sad situation, and I'm sorry that this happened. And I'm gonna have to agree with Reddit to some degree that you were being a jerk, but I don't know that this is the most severe type of jerkiness. I think that if this is still bothering your daughter, that you should sit down with her and talk to her and tell her about how you're feeling in this situation. Your daughter had a rough childhood, and she's probably still, mourning and grieving in the same kind of way for the loss of her brother as you are lost for the loss of your son. And it's hard when families have things like this happen. And this is why there are a lot of resources like family counseling and, therapy. And I think that you should talk with her and even potentially open up the idea of attending family therapy with her, because I'm sure she still has a lot of baggage from when she was a child. And there are probably insights there that would allow you all to grow together and be a stronger family and hopefully move on. Take care and good luck. Am I a jerk? Wife's family has decided that they're doing Secret Santa this year for Christmas because they don't want to buy everyone everything. I've never wanted anything in the first place, though I appreciate it. The family is 30 plus people every year. That's a lot of people. I told them that I'm not participating and I would rather get and give nothing, and they've set a limit at $100, which, if I'm being honest, with Secret Santa is around how much you would expect to spend, no? We are in Washington, and COVID has affected my job this year, and we are finally getting back on our feet and building up an emergency savings fund. My wife and I just put a down payment down, finally furnished the main living area, and wasn't even going to get each other anything this year. I hate Christmas for nothing else because it's expected to buy stuff for Christmas. I was raised that it was about family. I think Secret Santa is particularly dumb because everyone I've ever been involved in, someone ends up getting not what they expected. Why not keep the $100 and spend it on yourself? Something you'll actually like and not junk, and besides, it's $100. My wife is mad at me and says I came across as a jerk. Come to find out, her parents are being rude about it. Wife is saying everyone else is going to pull out as well, and we look like a cheapskate that ruined Christmas. Am I a jerk? Well, on one hand, if everyone else is pulling out now, after you've said something, then it sounds like a lot of other people may not have really wanted to be involved with Secret Santa. So I'm going to have to say that on some level, you are the jerk, but I don't actually know how much of a jerk you are. And I think that with 30 people coming to a Christmas celebration every year, that's a pretty stressful event. And I think that obligatory gift giving can sometimes be a burden to people, especially people who are having financial issues. So I think that minorly you are, and I think that perhaps instead of saying, well, I don't want to do it at all, you could have said something to the effect of, well, I don't want to spend $100. Is there any way we can do 20 or 5 or, bake something for people or do some kind of other exchange and not necessarily a Secret Santa for $100. And again, I think probably the way you phrased it, it sounds like was probably not particularly taken well, and it probably did come off as rude. But I can't also say that if you are trying to get back onto your feet and that this is going to cause extra financial stress in your situation, I can understand why you wouldn't want to participate at such a high buy-in. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Anyhow, good luck, and hopefully Christmas goes all right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my parents that they have no authority over my computer use? I'm 25 years old, and I've been living with my parents for a few months. I just lost my job due to COVID, and I'm not qualified for most of the ones that have opened up in the rural farm town. I also ate up all my savings trying to keep my apartment, and I'm still broke. My parents set some ground rules when they let me move in with them, including how many hours I can be on my laptop. They say that I'm addicted to gaming and that I need to be more constructive. This has been the single biggest trigger of fights and arguments between us. I've told them that it's my property and I paid for, and really, it should be none of their business what I do in my free time. I get that they want to help, and I get that it's their house and all, but it's still my laptop, and this feels like a power grab that only makes me resent them. I paid for my laptop, so I should be able to do whatever I want to on it. I'm not a kid anymore, but they think I need to be treated one with my addictions and other mental health issues. Even if it is bad for me, my parents can't force me to change if I don't want to. So I think that they should back off. It's only a matter of time before these fights escalate into something more extreme than just arguing. Am I a jerk, or are my parents overstepping? Well, there is a fine line here, and it's hard to say where that fine line exists. If you're spending 18 hours a day on your laptop and not doing anything else, not trying to find a job, not doing any kind of job hunting or trying to further yourself in any kind of way to help make yourself more marketable, then I'm going to say that you're probably at least a little bit of a jerk. And it's very hard to say whether parents should be able to control how much time you spend on your laptop. They're saying that you can only spend a certain number of hours on your laptop, so it sounds like you may be playing video games for multiple hours and for a long period of time. This may be more of them hoping that you get out of the house and look for a job or look for something else other than playing video games. So this is hard, and I don't actually have a very clear answer here, and I think I would need more information, but I think that in this case, both of you, that you and your parents need to sit down, have a discussion about this, and that if you're having mental health issues and if you're having dependency issues, that you should seek therapy and work through these things with your therapist. I would also consult your therapist when you get them about this situation, and potentially even bring your parents into this therapy to kind of help them understand where you're coming from here and why this hurts you. They will also be able to talk to you about why your video gaming might be of concern to them. So I think that there just needs to be a lot more communication here, and I think that everyone needs to kind of talk this out and work through this problem. So good luck. Our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Kicking My Boyfriend Out? I'm a 27-year-old female, and I moved in with my boyfriend, 25 male, a few years ago because I didn't get along with my parents. Both of our names are on the lease, just so you guys know. I have 2 younger siblings, one who's irrelevant to the story, and Sarah, who's 19. Sarah recently asked me if she could move in with me and my boyfriend and I because my parents are being unreasonable. I talked with my boyfriend and he agreed, and she moved in about 2 weeks ago. Things have been fine, although I've noticed that my boyfriend has started to avoid my sister at all costs. My sister says that it makes her feel bad, so I sat my boyfriend down and told him to stop because it was upsetting my sister, but I've noticed that he hasn't stopped. Today I arrived home and my boyfriend and sister were arguing. I got between them and demanded to know what was wrong. My boyfriend started talking about how my sister had made unwanted advances towards him and was peeping in on him while he was changing. My sister was close to tears and denied the allegations. I could tell that my sister was upset, and she's not a liar, so I told my boyfriend that until I made up my mind of who to trust, he was going to have to stay at a friend's house while I sorted out my feelings. He got angry and said that this was the apartment first, and yet I had no right to kick him out. I threatened to leave with my sister if he didn't, and that seemed to knock some sense into him. He packed a bag and left, probably to a friend's house, while I sat down with my sister, but she denied anything. I called my boyfriend to tell him that I needed him to stay away for a few days while I got everything sorted out, and he just went off yelling about how I had no right, that my sister was in the wrong, until I just hang up on him because I didn't want to fight. But the longer we go without talking, the more I feel bad about kicking him out. Am I a jerk? Wow, this situation. This is he said, she said, and it's hard to know who to believe in this situation because in one hand, you want to trust your boyfriend, and on the other hand, you want to trust your sister. And I think by asking him to leave, you kind of implied that you trusted your sister over him. And I also think that with him being on the lease, that he had every right to be there. And I think that kicking him out was probably in the wrong. I mean, you said that you knew that your sister isn't a liar, but do you have reason to disbelieve your boyfriend? I would seriously sit down and talk with your boyfriend and ask him his side of the story and try to figure out what's going on here. It seems like you immediately jumped into, I'm going to talk with my sister and try to figure things out from her side, instead of sitting down with your boyfriend and hearing him out and trying to understand where he was coming from. So I think that it was probably rash to kick him out, and I don't think that he necessarily deserved to be kicked out, especially when he's the person who apparently is the alleged victim in this situation. So I can see why he would be upset. Take care and good luck on this one. All right, folks. Here's our last letter. Am I a jerk for wanting an apology for my friend's daughter's behavior? Well, let's figure out what's going on here. So this happened right before COVID, and my friend still hasn't talked to me since. So I'm a 26-year-old female, and I acquired a free stay at a hotel with a swim park. I invited my friend, a 27-year-old female, and her kids, a 5-year-old female and a 10-year-old female, to come and stay with me for the night so we could all swim at the swim park together. Might I add that I invited them even though her kids can be bratty. I just wanted to be nice. So after we were done swimming, we go back to the hotel room to shower and to get changed into pajamas and order a pizza. As my friend was helping the 5-year-old get dressed, the 5-year-old was dramatically acting pouty and just blurted out, "I don't like Nicole," in a bratty voice. Let's call myself Nicole. I was immediately insulted because I invited them to stay with me for free and so that we could have fun, and this was the thanks that I got. My friend asked her why, and the 5-year-old said, because Nicole kept splashing me when I didn't want her to do it. Oh, I see. Then the 10-year-old turns to me too, surprise, surprise, and takes the 5-year-old's side and said that I kept splashing her even though she was crying. Oh my goodness, she's a dramatic brat. So it was most likely 99% crocodile tears. Besides, it's a pool, people get splashed. If you don't like getting splashed, then don't go swimming. All right. I can stop here for a moment. If you're in a pool and someone tells you to stop splashing them, then stop splashing them. She was clearly upset by the situation, and she didn't like it. And then you're insulted when she's like, "I don't like you because you kept splashing me, even though she told you to stop." I don't know if I actually need to read the rest of this, but yes, of course you're a jerk here. You kept splashing a 5-year-old. It doesn't matter if you are like, well, we're just in a pool, people can splash around and stuff like that. She asked you to stop. I felt like I was wasting my free pass on these two ungrateful kids. Well, I'm not surprised, to tell you the truth. My friend didn't tell her to apologize to me and just continued to get the 5-year-old dressed and acted like she didn't hear the 5-year-old insult me. I spoke up for myself and reminded them that if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't be swimming and they wouldn't be staying in a nice hotel, and that they were being ungrateful and owed me an apology. My friend said, and I quote, "She's 5 and quite frankly has a valid reason to not like you at the moment." Your friend is right. I told her my sentiments about it's expected to get splashed in a pool, and it was just harmless fun. It's only fun if everyone's having fun. If the 5-year-old wasn't having fun, then it isn't harmless fun. You were being a bully to a 5-year-old. My friend stuck her to her guns and wouldn't make her daughter apologize to me. I'm glad. I wasn't going to read this one. I was like, I've got 5 already. But, oh my goodness, what is wrong with you? Why? Why would you think this was perfectly acceptable? We argued for a half hour with her telling me to just drop it. Yeah, like you should have. But why should I? I don't appreciate being treated like trash after I do a nice thing for them. I then told her that I was going to drive home, leaving them there to figure out how to get home. No Uber in that town, since I drove there with my car and my gas money, because I was just done with being used and treated like trash. If it were up to me, I wouldn't have shared my pizza with them either, but to be fair, my friend paid for half of it. It wasn't your pizza then, was it? It was half your pizza. We ended up just going to bed. When we got up the next day, we were barely speaking and I drove them home. We haven't spoken since, so am I the jerk here, or is she for not making her kid apologize? You know, 5-year-olds don't have a huge vocabulary, and they don't necessarily understand how to articulate things in a more tactful way. And so you should have been more caring and understanding towards this 5-year-old's needs. You can't just bully a little 5-year-old and then expect them to be honky-dory with you. No, I mean, I think I've made my point above already. You're a jerk here. Don't bully 5-year-olds. Don't splash people if they want you to stop. And apologize and move on. You are the one who's in the wrong here. Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving it a like. If you didn't, consider giving it a dislike. If you made it all the way to the end here, consider subscribing. Why not? I release videos like this every day. You will get more. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll take care and I'll see you later.